Could the rumors be true? Could this really be more than a hyperbolic chatter of the town? Were some of the intellectuals of the era, the finest thinkers, writers, and artists, really involved in the occult? Were they truly planning to overthrow the government? Some rumors around town had declared they were practicing black magic in these clandestine gatherings. Yet most disturbingly to any upstanding Victorian, word round town was concerned with one matter more than any: pleasure and desire. Were the aristocracy gathering in private to indulge in adultery and sexual misdeeds? The Victorian era was a time of standard setting for much of the upcoming Western world, yet at the same time, it gave the rise to many secret societies that really freaked out the public. Welcome to History on Fleek. Today we peep behind the curtain at the secret societies of the Victorian era. Among its loud, puritanical manner and etiquette setting, the Victorian era was a time when many secret societies were founded and hit their stride. However, as the title suggests, most secret societies were heavily shrouded in mystery and secrecy, known but not understood, heard of but far from revealed. The most famous secret societies to come from the era included the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Order of the Knight of the Golden Circle, and the Theosophical Society. Many of these societies were theistic and focused on exploring the occult or mystical in spiritual matters. Groups like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn were concerned with discovering hidden knowledge of the laws of reality and nature itself, though the activities of such societies could vary to a broad degree, and this alone meant the public view of them was typically suspicious. So these societies were secret. Admission and info to members only, and everyone else could only guess. Thanks to this, what these secret societies actually did was only a point of paranoia and fear to the general public of the Victorian age. Mistrust over motives and activities only stoked more fear and rumors. Many people within the public at the time believed secret societies were only engaged in the nefarious, be it conspiracies to overthrow governments or taboo matters like black magic or sexual misdeed. That's not to say these fears were entirely unfounded. Secret societies engaged with radical politics could well face arrest or even execution. Yet, despite a shady reputation steeped in public paranoia, many secret societies of the era were promoting social and political change, akin to much of the healthy activism we see today. A Victorian society that would have a remarkable impact on occultism and esotericism in the Western world was the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. The group of occultists would explore all magical and mystic elements of philosophy and perspective and would attract famous figures of the time. They would include writer Arthur Machen, the famed poet W.B. Yeats, and an infamous occultist by the name of Aleister Crowley. Yet despite the secret society's impact on the society around them, it would come to its end at the opening of the 20th century. In 1890, the order was rocked with scandal from which it would never recover. William Butler Yeats was revealed to have had an affair with his fellow member, Maud Gonne. Unfortunately for both Mrs. Gonne and Mr. Yeats, Mrs. Gonne was in fact a married woman, despite Yeats proposing to her 4 times prior. Some boys just don't know when to quit. Understandably, Yeats was soon embroiled in a considerably bitter feud with her husband John McBride. Between this, dissatisfaction with leadership, accusations of blackmail and threats, the order would soon collapse into relative obscurity by 1913. Founded by spiritualist Helena Blavatsky, the Theosophical Society was a secret society of Victorian times that made considerable ground in bringing Eastern spiritual practices to the West. Founded in 1875 in New York City, the organization had a significant impact on bringing a new religious perspective to the spiritual and philosophical movements of the time. Blavatsky would move to India in honor of the society's Eastern perspective and set up an international headquarters in Chennai. Despite a membership of only 19 when it started, the movement had a rocky start and was riddled with infighting. Blavatsky and other higher-ups, including Henry Steele Olcott and William Quan Judge, were accused of fraud and deception, with many within the society even accusing Blavatsky of fabricating much of her spiritual narrative. While the society stands to this day, its early growing pains were considerable, and did much to damage the standing of the movement in its members' eyes. Charles Ledbetter, a renowned occultist and author, was a member of the Theosophical Society who would author over 60 books during a long career in the society. He had also taken posts as a school headmaster in Sri Lanka. However, in 1906, Ledbetter would be exposed for having advised young boys under his care as headmaster on matters inappropriate for him to be advising. An outraged membership gathered to denounce him and claim him a danger to society. Ledbetter would resign, though quite ironically, would be reinstated just 3 years later. Not all secret societies of the Victorian era were rooted in occult or spiritualism. There were considerable societies of the era that were far more politically engaged, some to a radical extent, who the authorities kept a keen eye on for subversive activity. Probably the most famed secret society evidently didn't stay that secret. The Freemasons had been around at least 4 centuries by the Victorian era, yet found something of a societal footing around the time. The first Grand Lodge of England would be founded in 1717, with Masonic lodges founded in North America around the same time. It's reported around the 18th century, accepting members who did not practice the craft of Masonry began in earnest. Famed Victorian-era Freemasons include none other than American founding fathers George Washington and Benjamin Franklin. A profoundly political secret society of the Victorian era was the Carbonari, the network of smaller revolutionary groups throughout Italian secret society that had its roots was active from 1800 to 1831. In purpose and design, the Carbonari was a countercultural haven that opposed political oppression in the early 19th century Italy. Revolutionary movements within the group would have a significant role in the unfolding Italian political scene, engaging in the development of Italian nationalism, the process of unification, and the failed Revolution of 1820. The movement sought to overthrow tyranny and found a constitutional government. While entirely geared to change the standing Italian politics, its influence ran far beyond. Revolutionary groups took inspiration from them as far away as Brazil and Uruguay, as well as European neighbors. Yet the political could also be radical. The Order of the Knights of the Golden Circle was founded during the American Civil War with the ambitious goal of annexing Mexico to the United States. The secret society supported the southern states during the American Civil War in defense of the industrial and commercial prowess of the northern states. Its extent and value to the South in the war are debated. While its leader, George Bickley, claimed to have attracted members by the tens of thousands, its influence on the South was negligible. Long held are rumors that Golden Circle may have been involved in a plot to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln. This is open to interpretation and debate, yet there is evidence to suggest that members within the group did mull over the idea of kidnapping or assassinating the then president. Guess it goes to show, you need more than a cool-sounding name to be an effective secret society. While many of the secret societies explored here were ahead of their time in bringing a plurality to religious and spiritual perspectives, some were not. Several secret societies of the Victorian era were primarily regarded as scandalous and taboo. It's worth understanding the societal movement the Victorian era faced, as many secret societies came to greater visibility. Matters of desire and sexuality were uniformly repressed and buttoned down in Victorian society. And the moral panic behind this was only fueled by the trial and arrest of Oscar Wilde in 1895. The famed writer and leading literary voice of the era was imprisoned and charged for his practice of homosexuality, and importantly in this tale, was in association with a range of the era's secret societies and artistic circles. Imprisoned for 2 entire years, the famed writer's downfall was seen as a societal warning against the excess of immoralism projected at Victorian secret societies. Yet ultimately, some of this heightened moral panic was not misplaced. Some societies took on practices and perspectives seen as highly unconventional and frankly alarming in Victorian eyes. Aleister Crowley was a key figure in the critical view of secret societies. The English occultist, born in 1875, spent a lifetime in secret societies and even started his own religion of Thelema, in which, of course, he was the guiding prophet for all humanity. Engaging in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and traveling to both India and China in pursuit of Eastern spiritual teachings, Crowley spent a lifetime doing 2 things: joining or starting spiritual movements, and becoming repellent to everyone around him. Crowley lived a libertine lifestyle that assuaged heteronormativity, involved regular drug taking, and offered social critique with no allegiance to any which side. Following the founding of his own religion, Crowley would form the Ordo Templi Orientis in 1912, which in a nutshell was little more than a sex occult. Yet the OTO was just one of several incidents involving Crowley. All had similar themes of adultery or sexual exploitation of female followers. The moralism of the time was heightened and, yes, a panic. But Aleister Crowley was a reminder that dangerous charlatans were a real threat. This is History on Fleek, and we'll see you next time.